Well, from a riot where 3 guards were taken hostage to failed safety audits to multiple deadly inmate assaults, 2025 was no doubt a rough year inside Tennessee prisons. To cut down on the violence behind bars, WSMV4 investigative reporter Stacey Cameron tells us state lawmakers are considering a pilot program now to outfit prison guards with body cameras. Stacey.
That's right, Lydia, and that pilot program would focus on the state's largest and most notorious prison, Trousdale Turner. Now, right now, it's under federal investigation for alleged staffing shortages, prisoner abuse, sexual assaults, and murder. We've reported on those claims and worse over the years, and now it's looking like a group of bipartisan senators and the Trousdale County District Attorney are pushing hard to get that body camera pilot program on board, at least on a short-term basis. Now, the case for body cameras inside Trousdale Turner came during a corrections subcommittee hearing today. Trousdale County DA Jason Lawson testified that those cameras would help him prosecute violent crime behind bars, including guards getting violently stabbed by inmates, because right now inmates know how to avoid the cameras that are currently installed in that prison. Trousdale Turner is privately run by a company called CoreCivic, and even its CEO said body cameras could help protect their guards from false claims of inmate abuse and help keep guards honest and prevent them from turning a blind eye to prison crime. But the Tennessee Department of Corrections, it's warning lawmakers to pump the brakes on launching the pilot program, saying body cameras on prison guards isn't the same from a legal or cost perspective as it is when having them on police officers.
Prison footage would regularly capture medical care, mental health crisis, visual searches, confidential security procedures, and vulnerable individuals.
When the inmates get knowledge that this technology is being used, the incidents will drop dramatically as far as what we see in the jail.
That it would pick up the cost of buying the body cameras for Trousdale. If it happens, that price tag is around $350,000, but the state would be responsible for paying the tab on all the other infrastructure and staff needed to review the video, which the DOC estimates could be about $2 or $3 million a year. Now, with the new legislative session beginning next week, the senators didn't vote today on whether to suggest a law for that pilot program, but all 4 senators on the committee seem to be in favor of it, and I'll keep an eye on it and let you know if anything happens when lawmakers come back to the state capitol. For WSMV4, I'm investigative reporter Stacey Cameron.
All right, Stacey, thank you so much for that update. Worth noting, Stacey will also be covering the entire legislative session for us right here at WSMV.